Warm greetings. Welcome to today's session on Women in Architecture. The discussion on women in architecture is about understanding the nuances of being women in the profession, and it is placed in the larger purview of being in the diverse field of the built environment for the women who started their career with architecture education. The session is coordinated with the support of Eco Development and Research Cell, a not-for-profit initiative of the Environmental Design Consultants, Ahmedabad. My name is Mansee Bal Bhargava, and I'm the host for the session from EDC Ahmedabad. We are glad to do this conversation and take up this study with women engaging in the practice and pedagogy of the built environment. The aim is to celebrate the presence and participation of women in shaping the built environment, and the objectives are to learn, to document, and to disseminate the biographical journey of women who chose to practice research, education, do arts, activism, and a mix of all of them, with completely very close-knit approach to multi and transdisciplinary methods to chart their career path. Through the study, we wish to acknowledge and appreciate the contribution women have made in the profession, bring forth the critical points that need to be addressed at individual, institutional, and collective level as what makes or breaks or tweaks the career of women architects in the country. The study allows us to implicitly understand how women maneuver their lives in order to find their purpose. And at the same time, it will help us explicitly build role models for the current and future generation in the profession. It's also a call to action for all to realize the need for equitable architectural profession in order to advance towards an equitable and sustainable built environment. Having said that, this may be considered kind of a prejudice, but we are also doing this research with another presumption, I must say, that the profession is heavily patriarchal as well as man-dominated. And this is where there's an attempt to really find out those women and look at their work. The methodology applied for this study is called autoethnography. In simple word, it means the life journey of the person and the researcher's pen. It includes a semi-structured open-ended interaction, which is going to happen today, followed by developing a video series through the YouTube channel and also transcribing the interaction to develop a small coffee table book to highlight their thoughts and their achievements. Today, we have Dr. Ritu Deshmukh to talk about her life journey, and I am super excited to speak to her. And thank you so much, Ritu, for agreeing to do this conversation. I'm really looking forward to it. And before I invite you, sorry.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Before I invite you, a short biography to just lay the session as a protocol. Dr. Ritu Deshmukh is a professor at Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Architecture, Navi Mumbai. She has a doctorate in water and heritage, where actually we met, by the way, from Thomas Jefferson University, Philadelphia. She is founder at Cradehel, if I am pronouncing it rightly, but Center for Research, Inquiry, Action, and Documentation of Heritage, Landscape, and Environment. She has engaged in heritage conservation issues at several global collaborations for research and in real-life projects through education and multi-stakeholders, authored several papers and presented at several national and international forums. As I know her for a brief time, she is very passionate educator, researcher, and practitioner. Thank you so much, Ritu, for joining. And I assume if you have people known to your network who will join this, please inform me, as I'm restricting this conversation between you and me. I hope you are okay with it.
Yes,
because I see few people are in the room, so I need to tell the names if you know them. But otherwise, we can just start the conversation. And just to let you know that the idea is to share the worries and the wisdom by the woman, for the woman, of the woman in the built environment. And we are just trying to set this interaction more as a disciplined, I will say, masterclass. So if you are ready, if we can start, if you like to. I see you are actually appearing on one more time. So is that the person there?
Yes, I'm.
Okay, but having two systems is giving different voice, huh? And Shraddha Ja, will you please switch on your camera for once for checking? Shraddha Jha, will you? Okay. Architect Kirti ML, do you know her?
Uh, might architect. So I might. I don't
Okay.
know.
I'm
Yeah, no
letting
need.
you. So I'm going to let people go out if they don't switch on their video. That's my thumb rule. Yeah. So
Kirti is my
Architect Kirti, if
known.
you would, yes, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So Ritu, if you are ready, we would like to start the conversation.
Yes, yes, sure. Hello,
Okay.
Kirti.
I will now then before we start the conversation, I will have to request you to put it in the horizontal format. That's a requirement of the interaction, huh? For the
This is okay.
video. Now it is okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. I hope you understand and thanks for it. Huh? Okay, shall we start? Yeah.
Yes, I'm ready.
As you heard me saying in the beginning, we are talking about those who started their journey with architecture, and not necessarily in architecture for that matter, but through the interaction, I'm also going to find out what architecture is for you. So I wish to take you back to many years ago when you were in high school, as what brought you to architecture? Why did you study architecture? What were the conditions at home, friend circle, education that you got into architecture?
So to be very frank, I was at the point when in 1980s, when very few women architects were seen in the profession and also in the education. So for me also, it was a very new area of working in architecture or learning about architecture. My family background was all having, mostly in my father's side, they were doctors, engineers, and civil servants, but we didn't have any architects. On my mother's side, they were all agricultural, related to agriculture, and then also like mostly into teaching, academics, law. But we didn't have this kind of a perception of what architecture is all about. So when I expressed an interest that I would like to go for architecture or chemical engineering, because these were two things which I was interested in. So my father was more keen about chemical engineering, and
Mm-hmm.
but because I was getting architecture in an NIT, that time it was VRC, a regional engineering college, I was more keen to join that, and hence my journey in architecture began. And
Mm-hmm.
my parents were very supportive, because especially my father, because he was very fascinated that okay, the first girl in the entire is in his entire family to take up a profession. He was super proud about that, and therefore he supported me in whatever way he could, to the extent that in second year he sponsored my trip to France, which was a 21-day trip, very, very ambitious and very, very risky at that time, because we didn't have mobiles and all those things. So but still he took that leap of faith, that, and I could relate it with today's context of Amrish Puri telling, "Ja ji le apni zindagi Simran."
Yes,
So that was
that was in
something.
climax.
So at that time for me, it was a very, very, you know, uh, a very path changing and very eye opening kind of a 21-day trip to France. So I was very, you could say, very fascinated with architecture eventually when I started learning about it, because before that there
Mhm.
was no background. So I was keen on understanding that let's try and get this thing, try and understand this thing, how it works, what will be the possibility in future. So all that was coming up in my mind, but I was not worried about it at that time when I was studying. So it was more
Mhm.
of a learning experience. Day by day, I used to learn about a lot of things, understand how it will go and where it will take me. It was all a, you could say, very, very experimental journey.
Interesting. So in the beginning of the journey, because as you know, we are trying to understand life of women. Uh, I like to understand from you, how was it in your college time and in your undergraduate masters and all? Did you ever feel that being a woman in the profession is eventually going to be different, or it never hit you, or if it hit you sometime, what was it and when was it?
So the first time it hit me was because I had studied in a girls' college, a girls' school.
Hmm.
So the first time in 11th, 12th, I was entering in a co-ed education, but that time we were all
Hmm.
very, very busy with our tuitions and all of that. So we didn't interact too much with the male population. But in architecture, when I entered, the ratio was 8 girls to 20 boys, 22 boys. So that
Wow.
was the ratio we were working with. And out of that, one girl was from Nigeria, so she was having issues related to language and stuff, but still she was managing quite well with us.
Hmm.
And the rest of the girls were mostly like trying to find their place in this all boys kind of scenario. Our immediate junior and senior batches were lucky, they were having 50-50. But our batch was very special. We had this combination of 8 is to 24, 22. So that was something which where I found that okay, I will have to find my own place here. But
Hmm.
luckily my classmates were very good in terms of understanding, in terms of the way they handhold us, handheld held us, and taught us things which we would otherwise not have learned. So we were, I mean, as girls we were quite lucky in our batch. The boys made us super comfortable in the class as well as out of class. When we had to go for some study trips or something, we would be equally taken care of. But yes, that pinch was always there, that oh, I will have to do this a little extra effort than what they are going to do. And
Hmm.
because I knew this, there were that I didn't have any background in architecture. From second year, or almost like second year end, I started working with an architect after my college.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
and that was free. Like I didn't ask him for any kind of remuneration, because my intention was that I should learn as much as possible of what is happening in the field, and I should begin it very early because I didn't have any background of architecture at home.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
and that was again a very, very interesting junction in my journey to learn about architecture, because the architectural practice was very small. So only me and the principal architect and one of our professors who was his partner, three or four of us would only be in the office. And till late, we will discuss about bylaws and about how to manage with the real system in the market and what is to be done in terms of design. So all that was a very, very good learning for me. So luckily, I could, understand the way the things function, but everywhere, as you mentioned, it was a predominantly male domain. And people used to look at me with wonder if I landed on the site because that
Hmm.
was also another area which I, coming from a convent school, my English would be a little more sharper. So the
Hmm.
people on site would always be wondering, what is this girl doing here? She has just come to, just see this and go back. So there is no seriousness and all that. Those kind of comments I would always get. But that didn't deter me from keeping my objective of learning as much as I can from the practice side.
Wonderful. Before we go to the next question, I see quite a few people here. I'm not letting them in again to protect the conversation. Do you know Shalini Sharma, Hari Singh, Paljit Singh? Do you know them? Then I will let them in.
Shalini Sharma, yes, probably. Rest, I don't know.
Okay, so I think when we were speaking, Shalini Sharma just left. So if you want to leave her a message, I will let her in. But because you were speaking,
No worries. It's okay.
Okay, so maybe you can drop her a line when I'm
Mhm.
speaking. I wish to understand from your very interesting point where you were mentioning that the boys took care of when you people were going out. They were extra cautious, caring. Uh, Even I had that kind of college life. And that in those days, I used to feel very nice that there are people who are there to protect me. And honestly speaking, after around 5, 6 years of my graduation, I started feeling that that was not right personally. When I started realizing the difference of being boy or a girl in the profession, uh, I would still like to know from you how you think about it in a society when we feel good that there are boys to take care of us when we go to site, they are caring, they are taking care. Do you think this is also kind of a realization that being woman in the profession is different? Or, I mean, I can completely understand that when we were going through that situation, it really didn't strike us. But because we are having this conversation more as a reflection, we are not living that time. I would like to understand from you because things have changed, of course, in the last many years. But what is your take on this? Why do we need to have? I used to even tease my friends as bodyguards. I mean, I must be very frank on that. Um, what is your take on that?
So, as you rightly mentioned, in the initial time, I used to be very happy that people are around me and all of it. But eventually, I started venturing out alone.
Mm-hmm.
There were areas which I would, try to explore on my own. But of course, it is a risk which you have to take if you have to go that extra mile. So that way, I am a very risky person. So,
Uh-huh.
so once I went to an extent which I just, it is not related to architecture, but it's just a journey which I experienced something which all of my male counterparts who worried about me gave me a shouting, but still I did it. So that was in SPA Delhi when I was doing my masters. So in that time, I used to
In
have
the
this.
joint hostel kind of situation, or it was still not a joint hostel that time?
It was a
Separate.
joint hostel at that time.
Yeah. Okay.
But at that time, I had this passion of learning and reading. So I
Hmm.
would go to the bachelor's library, bachelor of
Hmm.
BR's library. BR's building was somewhere
Hmm.
different,
Hmm.
10, 15 minutes
Hmm.
away from the master's building. So I would go there and I would read. And one day, on a Saturday, I was coming back, and with me,
Hmm.
the security guard also was coming back to his house.
Okay.
And he started a conversation and he said, can you come with me? You look very much like my daughter.
Hmm.
Okay. And I was so happy and all. I don't know what. I went with him. And
Hmm.
and I went, and of course, his wife was at home, and he showed me his daughter's picture, and he said, "You remind me of her, and therefore I felt you should come and meet my wife, and all of it." And it was like a very positive thing, everything fine. But after I came back, my current husband, that time boyfriend, gave me a big
Big
shout
piece
that
of mind. Yes.
how can you believe? How can you believe in people in Delhi of all the
Hmm.
places, and blindly you go without thinking what will happen to
Hmm.
you? You are so small, petite. If something would have happened, what would you have done? And all of that
Hmm.
I heard.
Hmm.
But I don't know. Sometimes I do this like this. You could say
Hmm.
stupidity or whatever. That I believe in people more
Yeah,
than
I
the
think
or
it's important.
yes,
Yeah. You raise an important point here. It is also about the trust in the society.
yes,
So we live in a situation where it is important to have trust in the society, but the society in which we live in India, where we are almost having one case of woman being molested or raped every hour kind of situation. Of course, family members and well-wishers, friends will be always concerned. And again, we are talking about some years back, and I don't know if things have changed for now, but we have to focus on our architectural journey and find out if things have changed since you started and today. So I wish to understand from you from there, like from your early career to when you kind of settled in your major focus on being in academia, instances like this or some realization that, okay, I am woman, I should make this decision. I am woman, I should not make this decision, not go here, not go there. Of course, you did mention that you have taken these kind of opportunities, which may be positive, but sometimes may turn around. But can you just tell us some instances where you really felt that being woman in this situation was kind of an opportunity? And I'm sure there have been some situations in life where you must have felt, why I am here. Being woman is really not a good thing in this setting. Would you like to narrate some happenings?
Yes. So I recollect the time when I just finished my post graduation and I came back to my hometown, Nagpur.
Mm,
Despite my mentor Nalini Thakur giving me two, three very lucrative offers, one was of
mm,
going to York, another one was of turning my PG thesis into real project. So I
mm,
had all these opportunities, but I told her that I wish to see my parents. It's been a long time. I want to go back home, and it
mm.
was something which was maybe predestined because I lost my father in August in that
Oh,
time.
sorry
So,
to hear that. Mm,
yeah, but that may be the reason why I was, called back home, maybe
mm,
just to see him for the last time or whatever.
mm,
So, at that time, I was also struggling because my father was a businessman and he had a lot of debts which were left on us. So me and my mother, we both tried to, wrap up everything very, very peacefully and cordially. My sister was working in Mumbai at that time. So mostly our ordeal was like me and my mother had to go through all the ordeals of the post traumatic situation you face after
mm.
losing the only breadwinner in the house. And then I was just a budding architect at that time, wherein I was not able to, our telephone bill used to be 2,500 and my salary was 1,500. So,
And that is how architects start. That's another problem which we have to really face. Huh? You know, when I
so
started
then,
job, it was between 10 rupees hour to 12 rupees hour. Like what kind of, selection criteria I have,
yeah,
and both the are the biggest masters of this country.
yes.
10 rupees and 12 rupees hour. That was my start. And I chose 12 rupees, of course.
So I had to do some other jobs as well, along with my job, which was earning me 1,800 rupees a month. I started
Hmm.
working with
Which
as a
year was
freelancer.
that, Ritu?
This was in 95.
Okay. So I got a little bit more than you in that years.
So, so then I started working as a freelancer for a firm.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
there I was in charge of making designs of interiors, furniture,
Hmm.
and all of that for them. And they would pay me 1,500 per month.
Hmm.
So that
Hmm.
was the call. But coming back to this question which you had about wondering, the risk which I was taking was like I used to do a lot of these risk taking things. So what I
Hmm.
did one day, my boss told me,
Hmm.
accompany me to a club in Nagpur
Hmm.
where
Hmm.
he wanted us to redesign the clubhouse, one of the
Hmm.
interior parts of the clubhouse. And I said, okay. So I took my tape and my notebook and my pencil and I went with him. He gave me a lift in his car and I was very happy. Okay, let's go. After reaching there, he said, now I will be staying back in the clubhouse. I have my friends and we will be doing clubbing and all of that. And you go back. And I was like, how do I go back from here? There is nothing,
Ah.
no vehicle, nothing going back from here. So I told him I didn't know because it's in a very remote part of Nagpur, and there were no public transport at that time from there. Only the elites used to go there in their cars or two wheelers or whatever
Mhm.
mode of transport. So I was wondering what to do, and suddenly he said, "Okay, my friend is going back, you go with him." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't know his friend. This is the first time I will meet him. What will happen to me? And why did I even
So
try
you
to come
live
here?"
in that constant fear, huh? As a
Yes,
woman in this country.
yes. And it was 9 o'clock at night. At that time, it was like quite a late time,
Yeah, of
and
course.
as I mentioned, we didn't have mobiles and other things, so it was all on just like I have to reach home safely. That was the thing which was going on at the back of my mind. Luckily,
Hmm.
the person who was accompanying me was a thorough gentleman, and he
Yes.
safely transported me home. But this is something like at that time I felt that, oh my God, this is something we should think about.
I'll
How
never
do
do it.
we, yes, how do we want to live like, architects? We want to be abreast with the men population.
Yeah,
We want to do
absolutely.
everything like whatever time they are spending on site. We also want to do that. We are equally capable, but we have these limitations coming around.
That way, society has failed women in this country. I
Yes.
strongly believe that.
But
And
I
I
have,
mean,
but
no
I felt
one
that,
person can be blamed for it.
yes, but I felt that okay, I was lucky that the person who took me there was a gentleman, and he,
Yeah, but
but
living in
that
that,
was like,
yeah,
always in the
yeah,
back of my
living
mind.
in that, and also every time having this fear. I mean, I still recall landing up in, I mean, I'm going to be almost towards the end of my life, to be honest, still getting down in Delhi at 9 o'clock and reaching my friend's place or
Mm,
wherever my hotel. Even with Uber, the home is calling me every 15 minutes. I am constantly on call to somebody to let the driver know that you are under vigilance. And
correct.
to me, that itself is a lot of pressure to realize that I'm a woman in this society and I have to protect myself from most of the men around me. I mean, these are certain things, very subtle subtleties of society, which also keeps women in a very different, I will say, mode of operation, whatever they do. I see Shilpa here. Would you like me to let her in, Shilpa?
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yes.
Okay, yeah. And do you know Paljit? Because Paljit name is there for a long time here. Huh?
You can
But I
bring
would
them up.
not
I
I would
don't.
not let anybody enter Zoom right now without any acquaintance because it will be riskier. Okay, let us this Shilpa, I will request you to make your video on at least for once to confirm you are the Shilpa we know. Uh, Otherwise, I will be forced to remove you. Um, Shilpa, if you are hearing me, please switch on your camera. Hello, Shilpa. Okay, thank you so much. Uh, Thanks
I
a
should.
lot. Okay, so I will now move to the next question from there. I mean, having living this and it's a set thing in the society. Unfortunately, we are unable to change it. And this is one of the small steps which I am making to bring a change. As women, we have one kind of the situation across society, but there is another situation in our personal, professional lives. And that puts us in a situation where we are carrying this superwoman syndrome. Home, personal life, professional life, and my own passion. And only few women are really lucky who are either having their personal and passion put together or passion or profession put together. And one has to be really super lucky to put all of these three things together. I would love to see if architecture can offer that kind of situation. But for now, what is it with Ritu? How is she carrying that superwoman syndrome? Or do you think one must carry? And if you are carrying, we would like to know the mantra of it.
So I think both Kirti and Shilpa here have seen me in that superwoman syndrome thing. And because
Beautiful.
I
I
was,
will invite them also now for a
yeah.
conversation because, especially knowing that you know them. So get ready, girls. We'll have you on board in the conversation, okay? Soon. Go
So,
ahead, Ritu. Mm,
yes. So, as I said, my journey from struggling architect, I had to, take care of my family, my mother, who was a housewife, and with the piling debts which I had, which slowly, eventually, we did manage to wrap up. But
uh,
it was a hard journey for us, and we got to see a lot of shades of people at that time because
mm, I'm
you
sure.
understand you understand who stands with you during the most critical period. So that was some one realization which I had at a very early stage in life. And after that I had to basically get into education because education at that time fetched me more in terms of the salary than
Mm.
than the profession. Of course the things have
Kind of
come
a
full circle.
stability which woman is looking for also.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes, and things are full circle because now also it's the same way, and a lot of women architects are switching to academics only for this aspect that they can balance both their
mm.
personal lives
Very
and
valid
professional lives.
points. Yeah, we have
So,
had quite a few academicians who are also practitioners, and it's
yes,
just the way how people put it. But I echo with your observation that it's about balancing life and profession. I mean, instead of giving it away, especially the
mm.
profession side, you
And
cannot give away personal life. You have to find
yes.
space for professional life.
So I had to take this choice, and I made the choice of getting into academics. Eventually, I also realized that I had a passion for teaching, and I could. But the first batch which I taught very recently, like on 10th of July, 11th of July, we had a reunion after 26 years. The
Wow.
first batch which I taught in Priyadarshini College in Nagpur,
Hmm.
and
Oh.
we
Hmm.
realized, all of us realized, like they also realized, that we were very I mean, in terms of age, we were not very much apart. Like I was just 6 or 7 years older to them at that time.
Yes, of course.
And and the boys also said that we just came to see you. I mean,
That I'm not surprised if they say that.
so they said we didn't understand what you were talking in the class. We just
Hmm.
wanted to sit there and see you. I said, wow,
Hmm.
that's a revelation. But that's how
But
things
after
were.
so many years, that's a sign of patriarchy as well. We may take
Yes.
it very lightly.
Yeah, yeah. But it was funny because I was teaching very passionately, especially
Hmm.
history of architecture was my passion subject. So
Hmm.
I
Yes.
would very much be, into that mode of teaching and all. And I would never look at these students of mine as any other thing except for students. But they had some other
Of
colored
course,
glass
students
vision.
have the freedom to think and
Yes.
do what they wish to do. So they will
So
do what they wish to do.
yeah, so that was there. And then when I got married, after that, I had to again balance both
Hmm.
my house and my profession. And our principal at that time was very, very super ambitious, and he would treat all of us equally. So that was something which I would
Which
credit
is
him
good.
for.
Yes.
Yes, because then he would call me and say, "Okay, Ritu, tomorrow you have to go on a study tour with the students. Get ready." And I would be
Hmm.
like, "Oh, I have a family. I have a mother-in-law, father-in-law. What is going to happen for 10, 15 days?
Hmm.
Oh, I don't know. You talk
Uh,
to your husband, tell him to take care of them, and you get
hmm.
out. You go."
Oh, I love the way he says, but does it really happen back
It
home?
happened for me. It
So there are
happened for me.
two ways to look at it. There are two ways to look at it. Sorry to interject
No,
here.
no. Yeah.
Um, uh, A, that okay, there are people who may be aware of it. As women, would you like them to be more emphatic towards it, or would you like that to be seen as they are more empowering
I would like to see it as my empowerment
you?
because that was
Okay,
the first
very
time yes, because it was the first time I took 45 students by
mm,
road from
mm.
Nagpur to Chennai. And
Wow.
we reached in 3 days. Again, that was another journey we had, but
Mm,
it took us 3 days to reach Chennai, and I was the only faculty with them,
mm,
taking them to NASA first, and then for a study tour for entire South India,
mm,
coming back to Nagpur by road. So it was a
mm,
15-day journey with the students, and it also made me understand my strengths and my
mm.
leadership skills and my ability to
Absolutely.
control so many students whom I told you were not very much younger than me. I mean,
Yes, indeed.
they were quite like 5 or 6 years younger than me. So I would just say they were juniors in the
Mm,
profession. But anyway, it was a good learning experience, and that's how I started balancing both my profession and my personal life.
mm,
But
mm, mm,
in my journey after my child was born, my college and the professional world was very, very, encouraging and adjusting for me. So I'm always grateful for that support which I got from all male members in
mm,
the college. My HOD, my principal, all of them were male members, and all of them were very supportive of my stance when I said that I can only come by 10 o'clock in the college because I have to take care of my child. And then I can only stay till 3 o'clock in the college because after that I have to go back and take care of my child. And they
mm,
adjusted the timetable according to me. They adjusted all the formalities according to me. They never cut my pay because I was going early or coming late. And all these things are learnings which, when I took the leadership position, I tried to make my team also benefit from this. So
absolutely.
this is
So,
something which I think that it should be empathized, and it should be, quality of leader to not just say that,
mm,
okay, you are coming at 8 and you're going by 5, and that's how
mm,
it should be. As against people who say, come by 10, work till 3, put your best foot forward, and give the
mm,
best to the people who are around you and do the best possible things in your profession. So I
mm,
think
mm.
that's a better take because that gives me very focused kind of interest into my profession. I do
Mm.
not do any kind of, time pass in the time that I have because I know that they have made bend the
And
rules
yes,
for me.
it's more sense of responsibility then.
Yes, more
Mm.
sense of responsibility comes
If
in.
someone is bestowing trust on you, you have to also reciprocate in that way.
Yes,
I'm sure.
yes.
So, in this experience, I have a tricky question to ask here. Do you think having a spouse from the same profession matters? Maybe in your case, in others' case, through your friends' spectrum you have over the years. What do you think in architecture? And I'm going to, you can also ask why I am asking these questions because every question has a reason behind. So, in this question, I really wish to give you the reason behind.
Okay. So I will
Do,
try to
do
answer
you
from
think
my.
it matters to have a same profession or different profession? I'm asking this question especially
Hmm.
because when you look at India's landscape of architecture, the whole architecture, I will say constellation, and also world, by the way, many famous, most famous male architects have a woman sitting behind in the office and really doing the main work. Over to you.
Yes. So I would say that that's the case with me as well. So,
Mm,
because my husband also is an architect, my
mm,
brother-in-law is also an architect.
mhm.
I have a sister-in-law, cousin, sister-in-law, first cousin, who is also an architect. Her husband is
So
also
you
an
started
architect.
first, and then you have this whole constellation of
Yes.
architects in the family.
In my in-laws family, but none of us, uh, fortunately or unfortunately, work together. So
Mm,
we started working together, like me and my brother-in-law were the first ones to set up the design forum in Nagpur.
mm,
Then my husband joined from Delhi because he had a corporate job in Delhi and he left
mm,
that and came to start the practice. I mean, be part
mm,
of the practice. So we
mm,
all worked together, but in that, I was also working as an academician, and then evening time I would dedicate to coming to the office.
Mm.
So what happened was that in the home front, my in-laws would feel that, oh, whole day you're out of the house, you're never in the house, so you have to be in the house in the evening.
Mm.
And then I told my husband, look, it's better that you get me a computer at home and I'll start working at home, because for me, that physical space doesn't matter. All that
Mm.
matters is that I do the work. So to
Mm.
avoid more conflicts in the house, I said, okay, let's sit in the house and work. And it gave me a peace of mind as well. So I had
Mm.
to, I could really concentrate on designing and working. And during that time, I also used to do some writing work. So I have written some 75 articles for an encyclopedia of Hinduism, which was published
Mm.
in US. So all those things I
Mm.
used to keep on doing, and it gave me a peaceful atmosphere because nobody was at home, and I would be alone
Mm.
and I would do my work as I wish. So that's
Mm.
fine. And it helped having an architect husband, because he would understand the kind of environment I would need, the kind of support that I would need. So what happened eventually is that he would go on site and I would do the designing at sitting at my house, and he would get it executed. So we divided unknowingly. We started
Mm.
dividing the work in this manner.
I can so much relate with it. Mm.
Yes. So so even now, like after so many years, we have also made one unwritten rule in our relationship. That is, we don't discuss once we are home. We don't discuss about profession. We discuss
Mm.
about personal things more than profession. So our
Mm.
discussions would mainly be oriented towards what did you eat, what happened, how
So
did
you're
you
not,
do.
yeah, so you are not sleeping, eating, walking, talking architecture at home.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
And my husband, for that matter, is also a person who likes to read, and he
Mm.
reads all variety of books. And then he says that, okay, get into that mode of reading variety of books, not only architecture books. And that has kind of opened my vision to an interdisciplinary thinking,
Wonderful.
rather than
Mm.
just focusing on architecture and that's
Mm.
it.
Mm.
So for me, at least it worked well.
Mm.
And even my ambitions of I started working with the French in 2006.
Mm.
So I told him that I really am passionate about following this up and going and learning about Indian traditional cities. So, and in 2006 my son was around 2 years old,
Mm.
and that was the first time I took him with me to Banaras for a 15-day on-site workshop.
Mm.
And I had to bring in my mother to handle
Mm.
my son the time when I am on the site with the students. So all
Mm.
those compromises you have to do, but if you have a supportive counterpart,
Yes.
I don't say that it has to be an architect necessarily, but a person who's from the same background would understand you better than
Mm.
a person from a different background. That's my take on this.
Absolutely. And of course, eventually, a person who understands you will be any day making a huge difference. Um, let me just ask Shilpa and Kirti, you may actually raise your hand whenever you would like to ask something or put some questions here, because I am not revealing the next questions even to our guests. So I'm not going to reveal it to you. But if you feel like that you would like to join, do join the conversation. Let me take you to the next question here. Uh, you are someone today whom what you have chosen, right? And I can see your passion for work, for research, for academics, for doing all kinds of public engagement. I'm sure there are many opportunities that came your way, and we are always at certain crossroads where you have to make choices. And those choices can be pan, as I said, personal, professional, even passion. Would you like to share some life changing moments that really helped you what you are today? You have shared few when you discussed so far, but anything that you like to add that made you what you are today, Dr. Ritu Deshmukh? It's,
Yes,
it's
there
moving
have
too
been
much. Huh?
lots.
Your image is moving too much.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Now it's
There have been lots of crossroads. The first crossroad I have already discussed when I came back to Nagpur to meet my parents, and it kind
yeah.
of changed my life and the way I was supposed to, what I was visualizing for myself and what happened were totally different. So for some years, I was in that mode that, oh my God, where am I stuck? Because that was something which was not in my plan. So
Hmm.
my plan was to go abroad to do PhD, to do some research, to get into conservation right from the day one. But God had some other plans. So He took me in a journey
Hmm.
where I had to do basic interior projects, then architectural projects, then also get into some different kind of, like I even worked with a civil engineer for some years. So all these learning experiences, I think, have made what I am today. So I would not discount that, but there have been crossroads. There have been
Hmm.
turning points where, if today I think about it and I say that, okay, what would have happened if I had taken that path? Maybe we would have been abroad
You
somewhere.
must be
We would have
thinking.
been. Yes,
Hmm.
we do think, but I still believe that wherever I am today is the best place I could be. But those
Hmm.
crossroads always come in your life. They are always
Of
there. The
course.
choices are always there. And it's for you to decide what you want to do. So, uh, the shaping up of a person does happen because of the circumstances. And
Mm-hmm.
if you are positive about it, it's better because then you grow better as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have that negativity too much in you, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, why I didn't get that thing happening, and you start spilling that negativity in your surrounding, it
Mm-hmm.
does not create a situation which is good for you as well as the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
So my belief has always been that whatever situation you are in, make the best of it. And maybe it's destined to take you to a different location which is meant for you.
Indeed.
So a little philosophical, but yes, that's how life has shaped me. So
Wonderful. So just to understand from you, I'm picking something which you had said before, and it's about being, in the profession and in academics. Do you think it is just kind of a chance that people, most of the women tend to join academics? And you did mention it maybe because of this trying to find a balance in passion and profession. I wish to understand from you, because you are in a leadership position for quite some time now. At least now, statistics tells that there are equal number of women or girls joining architecture school or graduating, but there are not equal. They are not really seen. So where do these women go? Do you think it
oh,
is the way we define architecture, the way we define architects? And if yes, if no, you please explain. So, where are the women? Why are women architects not well known in this country? And by the way, this is a problem around the world.
yes, yes.
When I started
Uh,
this research, I was already a public speaker that time, and I used to go to colleges. And by the way, it may be of your interest to let you know that I run a workshop on women engendering architecture, and it's on women in architecture, and it's a very fun-filled workshop that I
mhm.
conduct.
Nice.
So when I started doing this, and I was already going to many colleges across the country, and I will ask, name 5 women architects of this country, and there will be silence in the hall. And then, with some annoyance, I will say, aren't your women teachers architects? So why does an architect, when he or she becomes a teacher, is no more an architect? What's your take on this? Where are the women? I am looking for those women. Within that, it is my small effort to really build role models, as I mentioned in the beginning, because I find they have done exemplary work. And one of the major findings from my literature study is that women themselves have not taken an effort to document and disseminate their work, and also disseminate their ideas and thoughts about the society. So this is my take. I wish to know from you, where are the women? You may have taught 30 years of, or 20, not 30, sorry, 20 years of education.
27.
25?
27 years. 27
27
years.
years. So 27 years, many women graduated through you. Where are they?
So I would just like to break this down into some smaller parts.
Please.
The ones who were studying with me,
Hmm.
almost luckily, almost 90% of them are either practicing or in some academic role. So they are attached to the profession.
Hmm.
One or two have diverted from the profession. They have switched lines and they have taken some other role in the society. So, in my education time, I could understand this. During my time as a teacher, as a academician, I noticed that the ratio of women or girl students now is much more
Hmm.
than it was when I started teaching.
Hmm.
So when I started teaching around 95, there were, you could say, around 40/60 is the ratio, 40 being the
Hmm.
woman, 60 being the male population. Now it's almost reversed, or it's like
Hmm.
almost 70/30. 70 being
Wow.
women and 30 being male.
Hmm.
So that is my question now is a reverse thing. Where are the male architects of the society? Because
Wow.
I don't
This was
find.
actually discussed in the last conversation, and they had a very interesting viewpoint. Where are the men in architecture?
Yes. So the current generation men don't want to come into architecture because it takes a long time to study and then to set up the office and all of that. So they would want to go and venture into professions which give them like quick
Hmm. Hmm.
money and all of that. And especially the girls whom I have taught, one of them you can see here, Kirti. But
Hmm.
so they are all still following the profession. But I understand that a lot of them lose the plot because of the personal issues.
Hmm.
It's more related to the personal issues that you see a lot of girls tending to take the role of housewives or switching some to
Hmm.
some other profession or even leaving the profession and just sitting
Hmm.
and
That
doing
is the
nothing.
thing.
Yes. But fortunately, I also have examples of students whom I have taught, especially
Hmm.
from Priyadarshini College, like because they are older and they are the lots which have now more time to develop into what they should have. So one
Hmm.
of my students is now the director at UCL, heading the Sustainable Heritage course. So I'm super proud of the achievement that she has managed to do, balancing both home and the profession. And there are multiple such examples of
I'm sure.
girl students who have managed to break the barriers and come out and do their own, thing. So there are examples, but yes, these set of people are 30%, you might say. Another 20%, you might say, go into the profession. And there are some 30% more who get into academics. And
Hmm.
rest 20-30% who remain are people who go into oblivion. So you are not able to trace what happened and why and all. Of course, they can tell the stories, but somewhere they leave this profession. So that is also something we have to look at in terms of the education system, education model that we are having in this country,
Hmm.
where we are not allowing entrepreneurship. We are not handholding students to get into entrepreneurship at a young age. We leave them to learn by their own methods and ways, which shatters some people, which does not give them, which disillusions some people, and lets them take some other path, which is more fetching in terms of the monetary gains, in terms of the personal satisfaction. So I think somewhere even the body which leads us in the architectural field has to create an ecosystem which fosters uh, women architects and men architects to get into entrepreneurship at a very young age. So in engineering now they have started the conversation, they have started the incubation cell, they have started the innovation cell, wherein in architecture you can have much more than that. We are more creative.
Mm.
We
Yes.
are more innovative. We have
Mm.
almost like every year we are creating so many designs
Mm.
out
So
of
many
which you
research out of thesis.
yes, so many
It hurts my
researches.
heart when those research are just lying here and there in the library and
Yes,
students.
yes.
Yeah.
So that is what is the unfortunate part. The second part, I would say, which is not a direct answer to your question, is also the kind of apathy we have towards documentation, towards uh, keeping something for the next generation in terms of the legacy. We do not have a very good archival system in India, not only in terms of the architectural practices, but you might take in terms of the way, like the works which we do in architectural colleges, the works that we do in NASA, all of this are
Mm.
all in silo. You are not able to
Yes.
access this uh, through
Mm.
interdisciplinary learning, and all of this
Mm.
is not happening actually on ground.
Mm.
So this is also something which might, be of help to people who, some people are dropping off from active
Mm.
practice, but they can take up a very good role as a researcher, sitting at home, doing this research, building up
Yes.
this repository.
Finding. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So actually, you also help me in understanding, because one of the major finding from this study is coming out is how we define the profession. Who are the architects? And when okay, those people who are not really practicing anything around built environment, I can understand. But to me, I mean, no, you let me tell you, half of the people who are architect, new friends to me last 20 years, they don't even know that I'm an architect. So I'm constantly questioning who is an architect then? Someone who just makes buildings? Because those who are teaching are not considered architects. Those who have diversified, you may now slowly come to know me because we are barely few months old knowing each other. For last 30 years, I have been fighting a battle that water is part of architecture, but it is still not part of architecture. Since water is not part of architecture, I am already excluded from architecture. So I'm giving this example that when I meet some wonderful women who are in the domain of built environment, but not making buildings, they are naturally going out of the definition of who an architect is. And I'm giving my example, you know. So, so I fall into a situation where I'm neither a water specialist nor an architect. So, what is the definition of architecture? And to me, it is constantly bothering that can you make buildings without water? Go ahead and do it. Then let water be not part of architecture. Can you describe urban design without waterscapes, without water? Then let water be not part of architecture. So if one is studying water and you have many women who are doing different wonderful activities, someone is studying gender, why gender is not part of architecture? So this kind of conversation with all of you is also helping me redefine the very definition of what is architecture, who is an architect. So I'm calling it delimiting the very definition of architecture. And here I wish to ask you the next question on delimiting the very definition of gender itself, because many a times when we do gender studies, we are talking about women by default. We are not talking about men. I wish someone really takes up the project on men in architecture and also talks about man-made disaster, the way cities are built. And that brings me to the next question on It's a hypothetical situation where you have to imagine. As I said, the research is based on the presumption that there are more women, there are more men and the profession is masculine. Sorry. I would like you to imagine a situation, and a disclaimer here before you imagine the situation, not that I wish that stage to arrive in the society, but imagine a situation, all the famous architects in this country and the majority of the profession practiced are women architects. What do you think will be the change in the way the built environment looks, from buildings to neighborhoods to cities? How they will be different if the profession was led by women architects? I think the pedagogy of architecture and academics of architecture is somehow led by women architects now, but imagine the whole profession is also led by women. So basically, I am talking about a situation where there are barely few men known in the profession and all well-known people are women. What will be the difference?
Uh, I am.
It's a hypothetical situation.
Yes, I know. I would not like to imagine that because I think it's a balance we need to create
Okay,
between both the situations because it's like a yin and yang energy. You need to have both the
absolutely.
sides
But
to
did we
understand.
think like this when all the men were ruling the profession? We did not.
No,
So that's
no, no,
also a
really.
feministic value
Yes,
that women do not want to think like that. But
yes.
I wish to really, sorry to interject, but I wish to, because the question is not about having more women, because I also don't believe that engendering requires that there has to be all women. But the question is different. The question is, how will the buildings, neighborhoods, and cities look different? Not that whether you will have it or not.
Yeah,
That is
of
the question.
course. Of course, what I find is that there will be empathy, there will be balance, there will be a very much sensitive way in which we will have our built environment. If we have more women at the top,
Hmm.
more women at the decision making area, uh, and there is also a point of view that when you look at the way, even I see the landscape of the architectural heads in Navi Mumbai or
Hmm.
Mumbai, you have lots of women principals who are taking over and changing the way they are shaping the academics as well. They are
Hmm.
changing the way the men or the students who are boys are looking at architecture or perceiving architecture. So even this change is already started.
Hmm.
It is already
Yes.
happening. So I believe that yes, it will be a very positive change. I believe that it will also change the way we look at our built environment. But I also believe that there has to be a balance. There has to be both point of view coming in. I understand your
Absolutely.
point of view that yes, when the things were other way around, they did not consider. But I don't think we should look at it that way. We should look at
No,
it.
no, absolutely not. Yes, I so much agree with you. Your voice is breaking, huh? So I think there's a time lapse.
Okay.
Hello.
Now is it clear?
Yes, it is clear now. Please go ahead.
Let me come. If you give me a minute, I will
Yeah,
come
sure.
from my laptop.
Sure.
I will just log in.
Sure. So,
By the
meanwhile, I'll
time I
just put
think we
my
can.
point here that you may change your location if you wish to. Actually, the profession is genderless or gender neutral, if you would like to call it. So, the issue of being woman or man should not, in principle, arise. And that is where this question becomes very tricky. Personally, I would like to live a day when we don't have to talk about being woman or even talk about gender issues in architecture, and to actually arrive. So I see that you are joining from the other point, huh? So
Hello.
yes, I
Hello.
have let you in. Yeah. So
Hello.
actually, the research is a step towards more equality because of the inequality existing, and that's the whole purpose. Not that we would like to replace all male architects from scenario, but it is also very clear for us in the research that having more women is not necessarily engendering the profession and the practice and even the pedagogy of architecture, but it is about probably somewhere a discussion about feministic values that are crucial for our built environment, because we have had enough years of masculinity. So, if masculinity has been experimented for so long, would we not like to experiment a little bit on femininity? So, I'm just giving a background while you were getting ready. And that brings me to the last question, actually, of the day. It's in two parts. You know that our profession is very rarely known in the masses. Society barely knows us. It's also an elite kind of profession. We don't have many community architects, trained community architects and all. So what will be your message for the younger generations, because it's also admission times now, why one should join architecture, and what do you think over the years, what has been the most satisfying part? That's part one of the question. So you this is a message for younger generation, out of which we want to make some snippets for promotion. And the second question is, what are simple behavioral changes we need to bring? And when I'm saying we mean all genders. Be simple behavioral change that we can engender the profession, so that these conversations in future should not be required. I started this conversation to arrive to a situation where at least there will be more women known in this country. When I started my undergraduate, I only knew Didi Contractor. When I graduated, I only knew Revati Kamath and Brinda Somaya, and it was full stop. And then I came to Ahmedabad. I mean, of course, Meenakshi Jain and Parul Javeri I was knowing, I'm sorry, and Madhavi Desai. And this research is also laid on the foundation of what Madhavi Desai did her book on, and her 10 years of research, 10 plus years of research. So, what are the little behavioral change we need to bring at workplace, so that we are moving or inching towards equality in architecture, gender equality in architecture? Thank you so much, and over to you.
Thank you for this question. It's a very complex question and a very difficult to answer also, but I would try to see from my own perspective and my
Sure.
understanding about the profession till now. I would like to answer that first of all, the way in which the architecture profession today is being projected, that has to change.
Mm,
That is the first
mm,
aspect which I would like to, promote in the younger generation. Uh, it is a stream which requires utmost patience. It is a stream which requires a lot of practice, because I think that any profession needs that time to grow and become a master, and then
mm,
only can you give back to the society. What you are supposed to give back is as a
mm,
professional.
mm,
So this maturing time, even wine, takes time to mature. Even good things take time to mature. But
mm,
the current scenario is people are looking for fast solutions, fast profession, which gives them faster money. And that is something which architecture profession is facing as the most critical thing in today's context.
mm,
And that is one thing which I would like to, mention to the young generation, that architecture is a profession which can give you a diversity which I have experienced. At any age, you can divert and still it will be part of architecture.
yes.
So if you divert
You may
into,
feel it's not the profession. Yeah.
so you have to, like, if you are wanting to do something related to designing only children's play spaces,
Mm-hmm.
you will still be called an architect, but you are
Yes.
having a passion to designing children's play spaces. And you might
Yes.
have a passion to just do photography, which is architectural photography. Still, you will be an architect doing that
Mm,
passion. So you have this variety of opportunities, diversity
mm,
possible in architecture stream. which I think the younger generation doesn't want to explore or doesn't know that there is a possibility to explore,
Mm,
because your journey as a person is not in
mm,
that 5 years of education. Your journey as a person is after that 5 years of education. So
mm.
if you have a passion in that 5 years, you develop some passion, you will not feel bored of the profession anytime in your lifetime.
Anytime. Yes.
You'll always have that passion. You yourself have experienced it. You had a passion for
Yes.
water, and you are
Yes.
keeping on growing in that passion,
Yes.
but still you are an architect. So
Thank you for reminding me, because most of my friends and society does not even know that I am an architect.
yeah, so that is the part which I would like to
Of
reiterate, that
course.
this
Yeah.
is this is a field which is having such a diversity that you can
Mm,
give a lifetime and still not be able to,
mm,
achieve what you're supposed to achieve.
mm,
And the second point you mentioned was related to the engendering part, which I
mm.
feel that it is happening slowly
Yes,
and
indeed
steadily.
happening.
Women
Yes.
are taking over, and they are coming in positions where they can command and demand and expect what is to be done. But I would like all of us in India to learn from our professional counterparts outside India as to
Mm.
how they create this balance between profession and personal life,
Yes.
how they behave professionally, in
Mm,
the amount of depth which they have, the depth of knowledge which they have in any part which they take up as their areas of expertise. So
mm,
that professionalism, I think we should learn over here. That
mm.
is something which is which still needs to build up, not only in the females but also in the males. So
Indeed.
that is something which I find. I mean, ethics is something which we are missing in a big
Mm.
way. We do not shy away taking somebody else's project, grabbing
Mm.
those projects,
Oh,
and
plagiarism is a
all
serious
of this.
problem.
Yes. So this is something which we have to, inculcate in our
Mm,
society if we want to keep the architecture profession alive and
mm,
flowing for the future. There is another thought which is going on, which I think many of the people are also thinking of concising the architectural education and
mm,
making it 4+2 model. So all
mm,
of that is most welcome, not a problem, but we are somewhere missing the bottom line, that we have to start treating this as a profession rather than as a course or way of learning, way of earning, and a way of earning short cut money. So that
mm,
is something again which has to be inculcated in the younger generation. So it
mm,
has to go at a grassroots level now, the importance of architect and architecture, which somewhere along the line, because we are omitting drawing in our
mm,
early stages of our children's education, we are also fostering this thing that visualization is not important in our society.
mm. Then
So
where will ideation go if not
yes. So
visualization?
when you do not encourage creativity, when you're not encouraging visualization, when you're not encouraging when you're not allowing your children to dream, that is the biggest mistake we are making as a society.
Mm.
So for me, it is very important that children and the younger generation dream, because that
Wonderful.
takes you to the level where you can visualize what is good for you, what is bad for you, how can you shape the society in which you are.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something which I am, thinking that this is where I would like to divert my attention, and that's why I have gone into that mode of advocacy through
Mm,
comics, through documentary making, through any mode of communication that I can develop.
mm,
That I don't want to be an activist. I want to be a person who shows through action this is
mm.
possible. So you don't have to create big things. You can do small things and still make a change.
Indeed. We will have a different discussion on being an activist or an architect or academician, because I love this question, and I just want to share before I close this conversation here. 2022, when I was one of the delegates from Swedish Embassy to participate in Nobel Prize Teacher Summit, and the baseline question was this: should academicians be activists? And I stand by that. And there were only few people, in 9 or 10 people out of 300 academicians, who believed that academicians should be activists. But as I said, we will have this conversation some other day. And for now, the conversation ends, and I would like to invite you to have any question you have for me. Otherwise, I will do the vote of thanks.
Yes. So just taking on this aspect of activism,
Hmm.
I am supporting you in the method, in the term that yes, academician need to be activist, but
Yes.
I do not believe in activism without action.
Of
So
course,
that
of
is
course.
my take, that when I
Hmm.
have to do some change, I should first
Hmm.
do it and then tell people that yes, this is how it can be done.
Have to provide alternatives.
Because
Indeed.
yes,
Yes.
because I've seen a lot of activists
Hmm.
around me who talk,
Hmm. Hmm.
but actual work, it's not done. So there is a, I support you because I have seen you have done that into action, but there are
Hmm.
people around me who only talk.
Okay.
So
Still, we will have this discussion
yes,
some other day.
some other
And
time, yes.
I'm
Thank
assuming
you
you
so
do not have any question for me otherwise. So thank you so much for this wonderful conversation. The more I'm interacting to all these emphatic and enlightened women, I'm realizing the deep contribution women are making in not only engendering the profession and the practice and pedagogy, but also for me personally, allowing me to understand the definition of architecture and who is architect, and which I call actually the delimiting the definition or the scope of architects and architecture. Thank you so much, Dr. Ritu Deshmukh, for this enlightening interaction. May you remain an inspiration for many, including me. I am grateful to have learned a bit about your endeavors and life, because it's not possible to know everything. I wish the best to continue for you, and I hope you will keep us posted. Here, we shall continue with our interaction on women in architecture. We have a target of interacting with 100 women to learn more about their endeavors, and I shall connect with you outside this conversation to explore possible collaborations with the hope to meet you sometime soon. Thank you so much, and please take care, Ritu. And thanks, girls, to be around. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to listen to my side of the story of my journey.
Thank you.
And also thank you to Kirti and Shilpa to be here and listen to this conversation. Hope to see you all soon. And also looking forward to working with you, Mansee, in future.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Okay, bye bye.